everyone. Welcome to the Santa Marta Designs YouTube channel. How is everyone? It's 9 a.m. here in Massachusetts, Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing this fall muted tones grapevine. So we have a bunch of florals to work with. We're going to get started right away. And so we do have a bow we're going to make, and I think we're going to do it by hand just because the camera angle right now that we have is not really conducive for me to keep pushing it down for you to see the desktop and for you to stay up here and see the grapevine wreath. So we're going to do it by hand this morning, and I think that's what we're going to start with because we want to get our bow on there right away. And we're actually going to do two bows. So we're going to do a design that has basically one bow up here, and then we're going to put in some flowers to the sides, and then we're going to put in another bow down here, and again some more flowers and florals to the side. So we have a 2.5 inch that we're working with. What I do think, I am going to get out just my Easy Bow Maker just to be able to put the spool on. So I have a 2.5 inch here. It's a brown, dark brown with large cream polka dots. And so I'm going to leave a really long tail because I don't know how short I want to cut it. And I do think I'm going to have a point that I'm going to loop some of it and kind of have it hanging. So I'm going to leave a pretty long tail, and I'll measure that for you. Let's see how long this is. It's probably going to be about 36 inches long, my tail. All right. And if you're hopping on, we're doing this live, so you can say hello. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. So I'm going to pinch that and put it in between my hand here, my thumb and my forefinger here. And then when I come under, I'm just going to come under and make a loop, and we're going to see if that's how big we want it. I'm probably going to shorten it just a little tiny bit. I don't want it just kind of flapping in the wind. I want it to stay kind of nice and strong. All right, so let's just see if that's going to be good enough. I think that's good. So I'll tell you how big that is basically. Let's see. That is about a 6 inch loop. And so we're just going to keep pinching in our hand and then come under and over. And we're going to keep doing this, okay? And to check to see how big our loops are, if they're even, we can kind of just grab the ends and do that. All right. So we're just going to keep going and making more loops, and we're probably going to do, I feel like one of our sides of our loops here are off. Hold on, let's see. No, it looks about right. Maybe it was just the eye of the holder. The eye of the holder is what looks like was off. So I'm going to keep going over and under and under and over every time we go into the sides of our little spot here in our hand. And so I think we're going to, no, we're going to make one more. Let's make one more. Make one more loop here. So we're going to have 3, it looks like, on either side. Remember, you're not twisting when you're doing it in your hand versus where if we were using our Easy Bow Maker, we'd be twisting every time we went into those dowels. Okay, so I like that, and we're gonna let this hang, and I'm gonna just kind of grab that, and we're gonna grab our scissors. Let's see if we can't cut this close to where we want it. Okay, so we're just gonna cut right about here. All right. And so now, let's see, we're going to put this inside the dowels of our Easy Bow Maker. If you have a clip like this, like maybe just a laundry clip or like a chip clip, you can use that. I do have my hot glue pot that we're using today, and I'll just lift that up real quick to let you know. So this is a Sure Bonder glue pot. I love this. You can use like one of those hot skillets as well, but I like that because I don't have a lot of space in my desk space here, so I would rather just go ahead and get something that I don't have to put underneath to protect my mat from burning, like a regular glue skillet. I should say a cooking skillet. So this one we're going to leave long as well. So let's see. We're going to shorten this one to probably about 30 inches because I don't know how much we have left of this beautiful one here. And we're probably going to do these loops at about 5 inches. Perfect. We're at 5-inch loops on these. And let's see and just make sure that we have even loops. Perfect. And we're going to try and work quickly today because I know everyone is so busy. Busy, busy bees. All right, so we have 3 loops. Oh, we're getting some buffering, huh? Let's see. All right. I'm not really sure why we're getting some buffering, but good morning, Debbie. How are you? Someone could let me know if you're seeing any buffering going on. Let me know. I hope we don't have to come back on. Oh, I do see it buffering. It might just be a small little glitch. I think YouTube I think YouTube is trying to buffer it out. So just hang on in there. I think YouTube is trying to fix it. It's sending me a message. Not really sure what's going on this morning. Of course, of all mornings. Okay, we're gonna keep going and see if it will fix itself. All right, if someone could let me know if you guys are still seeing the live on or what is going on. Not really sure what's going on over there. Okay, and we're gonna make a smaller tail. We're gonna keep going and making sure not sure if you guys are still there. All right, sending me some message. Oh, we're back into excellent connection. Okay, that was a little weird, right? Not really sure why the computer gremlins kind of get upset in the morning sometimes. Maybe they haven't had their coffee yet. We haven't either. All right, so we're just going to make a small 1 loop, 2 loops, so total of 2. And now we're going to grab a pipe cleaner and I know you can't see this part, but I'm just sneaking this right under my bow here, and we're going to do everything up in the air and show you in 1 second as soon as I have this zip tie in. I didn't kind of think about the camera angle for the bow. I was more so thinking about the camera angle for you guys to see on the grapevine. All right, so here is, this tail got a little out of whack here. There we go. Alright, so here is our bow so far. Looks like a bunch of ribbon mess, right? That's basically what it looks like right now. Okay. So I put in a zip tie to hold everything right in the middle. And I'm going to sneak the zip tie tail to the back. And I have out a pipe cleaner right here that I'm going to sneak right in the back here. I have a black one. I could have chose brown. I don't think I had brown readily available, so we grabbed the black one. I think we had more Halloween stuff out. That was why. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Thank you for telling me. Debbie says we're still on. Perfect. Was a little afraid we lost the feed, but YouTube looks like it says it's fixed the problem. And we're good to go. All right, so in the back, I'm gonna really tie this off now. And I'm gonna make sure that my ribbon is going all in the direction I want it to go. And I'm so sorry we had to cancel last night and reschedule to this morning. So I had everything ready to go. And health comes first, because if we're not feeling well, we can't teach. So, all right, everything looks like it's going in the right direction. So we're going to tie this off really tight now until you can't hear any more clicks. We're going to take our wire cutters and just cut the back of that tail off. And we're going to sneak our bow into our piece here. And I'm going to put it to the side because this side is going to have a bow and then this bottom part is going to have a bow. And we're going to sneak this right into our grapevine. So I'm going to put these tails to the back for a minute here so that you can see we're just sneaking this in here. And I didn't go around the back. I actually snuck it through the grapevine pieces. Okay. And then I'm sneaking it right back to the front. And sometimes you can use these, the yarn needles to kind of get this through. I usually don't have a problem. I just grab sometimes as my needle nose pliers if my fingers can't do the reaching. So we're just going to bring this down to the front there and twist and tie this off. Okay. So no part of the back of my grapevine is going to have anything showing or anything against it. Alright, so I'm just twisting this pipe cleaner shut so that this bow is not going anywhere. And I'm just going to cut this long piece of the pipe cleaner off. Alright, so now we can bring our tails to the front. Did I just put our bow upside down? Probably, but since it's on a pipe cleaner, all we have to do is twist it around. There we go. Easy as that. Alright, so now here is where I like to fluff our bow when it's, and I'm going to tell you guys a secret. So this table is perfect height for standing, but not when I have this on. So I have a little step stool to help me because I'm short. So, and to reach up here without getting my arms like completely exhausted, I think this little guy snuck the wrong way. Without getting my arms completely exhausted from kind of being up in the air all this time, I brought in our little step stool to help me out. You gotta work smarter, not harder, kind of thing. And don't be afraid to pull on your bow and ribbon to make it go where you want. Okay. All right. This little guy is going to get refluffed and refluffed quite the number of times. And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up taking these really long tails that we have, like this, and we're going to pin them in a draping fashion, okay? And maybe we might only do it on a couple of sides, but I think we're gonna finagle that once we have some of our flowers in, which we're gonna get to. Because we could fluff our bow all day, I think. All right. So we're gonna stay in the light tones today. And we do have just like a few pops of like a brighter color, but we're gonna actually use white as our pop, okay? I don't want to use any pops like a blue or green or anything like that as the pop of color, even though the greens are gonna be available because they're gonna be in the leaves. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of hide this behind our grapevine for a minute. So that way it doesn't interfere with us putting in our stems and doesn't get glue on it, okay? Just trying to make sure they all stay to the side there. There. So now we're gonna move our ribbon out of the way because we will need that again. All right. Thank you. Debbie says the bow is pretty. And with grapevines, you're going to see that they shed constantly. So for our background, I always like to put in our leaves first in the back. So we have these variegated leaves. We have some of these like really springy leaves, and we have these twigs that are curly with some leaves. And then we also have these muted leaves, which I think are beautiful. So we have these muted leaves as well. So we always want a little bit of green, just as a little tiny hint. So let's just start taking off some of these price tags. Oh, and I forgot we had our glue pot right there. I hope I didn't put it in the glue. I'm gonna have to be careful with that. I should have put it right underneath our stand. You know, the one thing I tend to stress is the manufacturers always bundle and tighten everything to the point that you gotta, like, almost, it's like a puzzle to figure out how to untie something. So there's a good amount on this bushel. It's almost like a hanging vine. And we're probably going to use the whole thing. And I've already cut this one from another project. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Wait, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 strands here that we're going to cut all of these off. Okay. And I'm going to cut it right at the base because we can always cut them shorter if we need. So I'm just cutting right at the base. I'm going to have to remember to hold my stuff up a little bit higher so you can see. Usually we're desk level. And then we just have this left over, which is the rod end. So we're going to toss that. I don't reuse those. We reuse as much as we possibly can, but not with that. And I'm going to give this some bend and twist. And we're just going to start adding these little guys in here. Okay. So I'm going to stick this in my glue pot. And my glue is really nice and like sticky, not runny. It's probably a little bit more than I wanted, but and we're just going to get back on our little step stool here. And I'm trying to be careful not to get anything on my ribbon. Okay. I don't want to get anything on my ribbon. So wherever we can, we're going to hold off on getting anything on our ribbon. so this little guy is quite the long one, so we're going to hang him up here, and he's going to go probably towards the top, so that way we can cover a little bit on the top, and then he's still going to hang, so that would be a really good use for him. I refer to my flowers as hims and hers, and this little guy and this little guy and that little guy. And all we're doing is going through every single branch and giving it a little wiggle so that it doesn't look straight as a pin. Okay. All right. I'm gonna come right up top here and sneak this guy in. And so he's going to come right behind our bow and fill that in nicely. And don't worry about, your bow is going to get a little bit mushed along the way that you have to keep fixing, okay? And then I think we're going to add is a short little guy here, if we can find a short little guy. This little guy is short enough. Perfect. So each branch gets a little wiggle. Okay. And you know what? This little guy is going to come off because he's far too close to the edge here. We're going to keep the green, but he's far too close to the edge there to make a difference on anything. Actually, we might put this one going up. Let's see what we have. Yeah, I think actually we're going to put this guy going up. Change our mind, and that's okay. We're allowed to change our minds. Okay. I'm going to stick him. Every single piece that I put in is going in between the branch layers. I'm not going from the back or anything. Okay. Perfect. I'll fix our bow constantly. All right, now let's start adding in some of our muted leaves. I really love these leaves. They're so pretty. We're going to figure out how many cuts we can get out of here. So this long stem is going to be one. And then actually we're going to cut that guy off a little bit lower because if you see here, this got one little leaf on its own, so we're going to cut it at the base right here. We're going to cut that at the base. Oh, these stems are really thick, so sometimes you need some really thick, heavy-duty wire cutters to do this. All right, so this one's got like 4 little leaves, and we're going to cut right about here at that little notch. I need 2 hands to cut these. And then we are going to cut, let's see, probably at this little notch or base of this branch. Okay, so we've got this piece we created. And then this one I'm trying to decide. I think we're going to take these 2 little leaves on their own and then leave this guy really big, okay? Because we kind of want to turn our leaves so that they're facing the right way. They do twist and turn. All right, because I think what we're going to do is use this guy for hanging a little bit further down here. Okay, mixed in, since he's the longer of the bunch and the bigger one. And I'm just swirling this around in our glue pot. It's really nice and thick, and I'm actually going to turn it up a little bit because it's a little too thick. Okay. All right, and that little guy, who is that little guy? I'm going to stick him, actually probably right through the bow. I'm going to stick him in here. Now I'm going to be careful when I'm working anywhere near our ribbon, because the worst part is to get glue on the ribbon. Okay. And this guy, we're gonna stick this guy going this way. Yeah, turn it up just a little bit on our glue. It was a little too goopy. You know what I mean? I'll come right in here. Stick this guy in here. Okay. And we do have another one of these for the bottom, so don't worry. We're going to stick this guy going this way. I know there's some people that like to go ahead and stick their stuff in into their grapevines and then go back and glue them all in. I try not to do that. I do it sometimes on like certain pieces. Like if I'm not sure if one piece is going to look really good somewhere, then I might just stick it in and see if that looks good. But for the most part, just the way I tend to work, and it's no wrong or right, I just like to try and stick them in right away, because I really just hate trying to go back and fix everything after. That's the only problem. So these little guys, we're going to wait to stick these in because they're just going to add some height. So we're going to stick this guy aside. And then right now we're going to start taking out our flowers. So I really love our flowers. Where did they just move to? I just moved them because they were falling. Where did they go? They might have landed on the floor. Here's one of them. And oh gosh, where did they just move to? Huh. Found this guy. Here's this guy. Okay, so we have this pretty guy here. Here they are. They were hiding. So look at all these pretty browns and muted tones that we're going to be working with. I'm looking for other large bushel. Here it is. I have so many things on this chair right now. Look at these pretty ones. I think we're going to add these in first, okay, and then we're going to come in with these pops of brown. Now, I could have sworn we had another one of these little beauties. Might be hiding in our chair somewhere over here. And we have another really pretty bushel right here. Oh, they did fall. Some of them fell on the floor. So we have this another little pretty guy here. And look at these other little twiggy things that I have to add so that we can add some height. So we're going to add those in after as well. All right. So let's put those aside, and we're going to come in with these muted bushel tones that I just had. So these right here. So let's start with these. We're going to move our twigs and our browns aside. So we have space and we know what we're doing. Make space for ourselves. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So we're going to have 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And as you can see, I already used this from something else. So you can get a ton of use from your flowers when you buy bushels. You don't have to use the whole thing on one project. I'm going to the very base of each stem and cutting it off. Even though we might still cut it shorter, but I'd rather have it a little bit longer to start with, then it'd be too short and we have more work adding stems back on. Okay, so we're going to throw that aside. So these leaves unfortunately do not push up. They push up at the base here. This is the base, but they unfortunately do not push up here. So if we want to make it shorter, we may lose the greens, but we have plenty of greens in here, so we're really not worried. So if we have to push these off, we'll get rid of them. Which this is a little too long, so I'm going to leave about 1 inch. And I think we're going to use is that whole thing, just like that. Let's see if we want to make it a little bit shorter. So see here how I'm just kind of testing it out. I do think I'm going to lose this green here. I'm going to pop that off. Okay, so we just pop that off and we're going to cut this a little bit shorter, because I want it to kind of come and hide right behind that bow there. And then some of our other pieces are going to come out a little bit more. But we're going to, that's a perfect spot. So let's put some glue on that. So see how in certain pieces I do test them out. But for the most part, I try not to go in and then have to redo. Okay, so see how it's just kind of really like a fluffy flower? Love that. I do love that. And we're going to have one more on this side, probably going this way of sorts. We're going to have one fluffy, and then this one's like a little bit smaller and more bunched together. We're going to have this one coming somewhere this way. Okay, and turned out. Okay, that was a little too much glue in there. We don't want to take the whole pot with us. Just enough. And remember, if it's not facing the direction you want, perfect part is it's on wire, so you can bend it. So these two we're going to save, remember? We're going to save that for our other side and put that aside, because we have plenty more to work with. So we have these here, which actually have one little guy cut already, so we're going to put in this little guy that's already cut. This guy's a little short, so he might come over here. I think that's a good spot for him. And we're trying to work quickly because we still have one more side to do on the bottom. All right, so these, the greens do pop up. Okay, we're going to pop them up as we cut, because we do want to add just that little filler, and it helps keep the actual colored part to the flower kind of steady as well. Doesn't make it so naked. Okay. So let's just work with how many we have here. So we have 1, 2, we already added 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's do 6, 7, 8. So that way we'll do 4 on the bottom and 4 on the top. And so I'm just cutting these a little bit longer. Okay, they're just dropping down. One drop down to the floor. Actually, you know what? Instead of cutting the one that already has the price tag on it, we're just going to work with one that doesn't. So that way we don't have to fidget a lot. Okay, so we have one on the floor by accident. We're going to make this guy. See, they even have glue webs on all their stuff too, so don't worry. We're going to make this guy kind of come up here a little bit. So he needs to get cut a little bit further. And at the end, you guys can let me know whether you think we should keep this on our door or if we should list it, because I'm dying to have one for my own door. All right, we're just getting rid of the manufacturer's glue webs so that we don't have extra glue webs to get rid of when we actually have it on there. Thank you. Debbie says the flowers are beautiful. Okay, and so anytime you see me reaching, I'm reaching for glue. Just reaching for glue. Okay. And so we have 1, 2, 3, and we're going to probably put in our 4th towards this section over here. Let me see. I want it down here, but we already have one over there. Oh, I'm pulling the bow and I shouldn't. Pulling the tails. Let's see. We have more, so I'm going to put it back here. And I probably am going to leave that stem just as long as it is, so it's probably got like a 6-inch stem on it right now. And just swirling it around in the glue pot there. And get rid of our glue webs here. Alright, so you can see I'm actually trying to fill the sides as well. And we're going to turn this around a little bit better in a minute. Okay. So these 4 we're going to leave for the bottom. And if I feel like we need to come in with more, I will. But I don't want to use the same of everything, okay? Now we had only one of these little guys, I think. But that's because we also have only one of these little guys. So this one I think we're going to put towards the bottom, and then this one I might just put towards the top. So we're going to put that one on the floor. And it was a shame I couldn't find another one of these. Oh no, I did. Was it this one I had 2? Oh, I did have 2 of these. But one is a little bit larger than the other. So I think we'll do maybe the larger one up top. I think it was the other one I can only find one of for some reason. Alright, we're just throwing to the floor the things that we think we don't need right now. And this is another leftover. We're using lots of leftovers today. It's like we're cleaning out the floral refrigerator. And I keep these. These little guys I keep because I use them quite often on smaller little filler projects that we need. First of all, we should probably take our price tag off. There we go. And we're going to come up here and try and find the sweet spot to put this little guy. Let's see. No, I think that's too big. So we're going to take off some of his greens and make him a little bit shorter. He's going to have to come in between these greens. Oh yeah, that's a better spot for him. So we're just going to be a little careful because he's going to go in between a bunch of things. And really close to our ribbon. Perfect. Alright, I know our bow keeps getting smashed and we'll fix it. So if there's certain leaves that are just pushing up too much against your bow, just bend them back a little bit so it can take pressure off your loops from curling in too much. Okay, let's see what else we have. Oh, we have some of these little guys, and we have some feathers. Now, I chose this as our little bit of a pop of color, but these might be a little too big. What do you guys think? Do you think these are a little too big for our pops of color? Not these. These are not what I wanted. Just these, like, ginormous little, I don't know if you want to call them sunflowers or not. So we have these as our white pop of color. Then we have some more of these muted tones that we're going to add in here too. So let's go in and add some of these. I think we're going to add some down through this way. We're not going to add too much more. We're going to add some more up here, but not too much more, because I don't want it to go too far down this side. And these do pop up, so we're going to push these leaves up before we cut. So we got 1, 2, oh, and a price tag in the way. Take that off. I swear the price tags are harder to get off than putting your flowers in your project, and then the price stickers are hard to get off your fingers than glue. Okay. And sometimes when these, oh, it's because there's a piece of price tag stuck. So we've got 3. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I was just going to say, be careful when you're pushing on your leaves that you don't pop up your buds. And if you do, you can just add some glue and stick that back on. Great example of what I was going to say to be careful of. Okay. Sticking these on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's cut 6 because I kind of want to leave it even. We might put the whole bushel just to not have a little strand left over, but let's cut these off. You know, I'm just going to cut all of them because we don't want to leave one little guy without a home. These were close to the side of peach, but not quite there yet, I would say. So that's why I said, well, I think we could manage to use these without them looking like peach. Okay. So any indications on whether you guys like this white, big pop of white? I think we may not use it actually. I think I might have changed my mind. So we're gonna fill in some empty spots. Actually come in with a longer one up here. I'm going to send this to the back a little bit more. Okay. And we're going to come right in between here. Looks like I just poked myself with glue. making sure I did kind of get outside of our grapevine with one of those, so we'll have to come in and glue and cut that off. My intention is never to get behind or outside of a grapevine, so I think I just miscalculated that one little guy. Alright, let's come in here. That's good. And in here, that's where we're going to put this one. Okay, and let's see, we have 4 left, so, and I think we had 7 altogether. We might just come in with one down here. I think so. Let's cut this guy a little bit. Okay. Do want to cover the sides a little bit, you know. And with this green, I think we're going to end up pinning this when we do our oh, this guy lost a piece, so we'll put this piece back on. Be really careful with some glue. There we go. That's better. Sometimes things fall off and you don't know where they go until the last minute. Just taking the glue off. There we go. Alright, so now we have this kind of coming down. Let's add in what we had thought we were going to add in for some pops of brown. Alright, so we'll use these 2, and then we have 2 more of the little rose kind of things. Let's put in these. These were actually on clearance. Can you believe that? So I'm going to cut this little rose guy off. A little tiny bud. And then I think I'm going to take this unopened bud off as well. We're not going to throw them away. We're just going to use them elsewhere. These leaves, again, I'm going to pop off and use somewhere else. Price tag we can pop off. And let's see where we want this guy. Do we want him kind of forward facing down here, or do we want him more like, I think right here? Let's see. I kind of want him like center, dramatic. I think center. I think so. I think we kind of want him centered, and then we'll put in some leaves right before him. So we might cut right around here. Okay. Let's see if this works. Oh, we're on our tippy toes for this one. Okay. And we're going to come in with some more leaves, I think, over here. Yeah, that's not too bad, actually. Kind of feel it's empty right here. What do we have for leaves? Why don't we put in some of our nice little height adders here. Let's see. Where's a good spot to cut? Right here. Okay. Okay. And I think I'm just going to add this in one spot. The other side's going to go the other way. Let's add in the rest of our little rose pieces. Oh goodness, can you see how that glue just dripped? So I wasn't paying attention. Okay. And then this little bud, he's just going to make his way down here. Perfect. All right, so let's find our tail. It needs to go this way. Okay, just trying to maneuver everything. And I'm just pinching our ribbon together. I'm going to come down a little bit further. Pinching down here. And we're going to test to see if this is where I want it. think that looks good right there. Although I don't like how this little guy came down shorter, but this guy will just curl anyways. Okay, so this one maybe we'll tighten that one up a little bit. That way it has less room to stray off. There we go. Now if we can just keep that from moving. Perfect. Let's grab our pipe cleaner. We're going to take a half a pipe cleaner or so. Wrap this guy up. Okay. And I'm literally just going to tie it around tiny little pieces of the grapevine. And sometimes it's harder to feel for things when you have so many things inside already. Okay, let's try this again. Goodness, I can see it, I just can't grab it. I think I just ripped a leaf off. There we go. Sure did just rip this leaf off by accident. Pulling for the wire. Oh, I just let go by accident too. Okay, we're just twisting the wire. So the wire didn't go all the way to the back, just went around a piece of the grapevine. And let's contend with this little guy that got pulled off. Somewhere. Well, we can just stick him right back into the grapevine. Just the way he is. Okay. And this one, let's move to the side. I haven't decided what we're going to do with that one yet. cut these tails. Okay. We're going to curl this. And we're going to pin it for a little bit, because it doesn't want to behave. There we go. We're going to stay there for a minute. We're going to dovetail this. And then we're going to let this guy hang for now, because I'm going to decide whether I want to cut him a little bit longer or not. So let's cut him for the sake of conversation for now. And for now, we're going to put him in this curl holder, and we'll come back to him in a minute. Okay, let's take the little pop of white aside, and why don't we add in our little twigs? Okay, so let's add in some of these curly twigs. I love these, absolutely love these. So we do have two different kinds. These are almost like a mossy covered kind, and the other ones are a little bit more plain, brown. But these are great to add a little bit of height and dimension, and you can twist them in whatever directions you want. Okay, I save all these stems because there's usually a need down the road for all of these. So we're going to add these in as some additional accent. Okay. Whoa, we're going way to the top. Way to the top. Where I can't see. There we go. See how pretty that curl just adds in there? See some glue webs. I'm going to add that to the side there. And what we're going to do is turn this a little bit to the side. It's starting to get so full we can't see what we're doing. Nope, we don't have it in there. We got glue and something, but we didn't stick it in between the grapevine. Because it's a little bit skinny over there on the grapevine material, that's why. So let's put that to the side. Okay, and let's come, we have two more little curly pieces here. Thinking we might stick one right underneath here and then one on the side. So let's stick the smaller one underneath here, almost like outside the bow area. Okay. come underneath here. And we might be able to do another curl over here with our ribbon and let these guys kind of hang over. So we might be able to do that. Well, let's see how that all goes. And then this guy we're going to stick going right under here, sort of. Right about there. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that's our 4 pieces there. We're just moving some of these things aside. And I think we're going to stick in a couple of feathers. I'm loving the feathers. So we are going to stick some of those in there. We basically have enough to stick some on the bottom and on the top, just from one stem. Not too much, and I think what we're going to do is come kind of like around the bow and stick them in. Trying to find the sweet spot. And I would like a little feather. I want one up here, maybe, and possibly one right here, maybe. I think I like this one down here. Even feathers have a difference in the way they fall. Still not happy with it, but let's see what we can do. And its positioning. I think we need to cut it a little bit shorter. Huh. Thought I would like the feather. More so than what it looks like right now. Not so much yet. Okay, we're going to leave the feathers out. I can't find a spot that I absolutely love it and say, yes, I really like it. Kind of just looks thrown in there. So we're going to leave the feathers out for a minute. And maybe we might add them, maybe we might not. And let's see if we need any of these. I don't think we need any of these. We're going to fix our bow though. I just mangled it. So I think that's what we're going to do for now on the very top. And let's come in with another bow on the bottom. Now we're going to do not such long tails. So our tails on the bottom are probably going to be, let's see, probably about 16 inches or so. So we're going to do approximately a 6-inch loop. Let's see if that's about a 6-inch loop. Okay. Oh, awesome. Oh, did you get to go to the Sims show, Debbie? The Sims designer show? It must have been beautiful. One of these days I'll get there. How was it? Was it everything you had hoped for? Remember, we're live on this broadcast, so it's a live chat. So you can ask questions or chat about the piece, or if you went recently to a retreat or to Sims shows. They had 2 shows actually, one at each one of their locations recently. So love to hear how people thought of it. They used a lot of long tails. Yeah, I know. I love the long tails idea. It's very, very pretty this season. Well, just in general, but very, very pretty. I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and come back in, and we might possibly pin this down a little bit further and do it that way. But sometimes I like to wait until we've got every other piece in and see how it's going to look, because we don't want it to look all crazy. So all I'm going to do is put this in our bow maker now, so I can just cut the tail and make it a little bit easier for ourselves. Okay. So the bottom tails are still going to be a little bit long, not as long as the top tails, because I'm not going to come in and have this draping effect to the side. So we'll see. We might come in with some additional tails that we add in here to drape a little tiny bit over, and I'll show you that at the end if we need to do it. So it's just super easy, and they'll look like they're still coming from the bow. So the unfortunate part is I just sold the additional last roll I had of this, but we have some from an extra bow I made, so we can always pull that apart if we need to. No big deal. So this one I said I think we had 16-inch tails or so. Let's just see. We can make these a little bit longer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do some loops here. Again, so it's always under and over when you're doing a hand bow. You go under one way, over the other way. All right, how many loops did we do there? 1, 2, 3, 3 on each side. Are we gonna have enough? We'll have probably just enough on this roll. This was an absolutely pretty ribbon. We have some in green that we still have to list. But it's such a really pretty, like a pumpkin green. The same pattern. Okay, so beautiful. We have just enough. Okay. And again, I'm just putting it in our little bow maker. I know it's kind of out of camera, but we're just putting in our bow maker to cut the tail. And then we're gonna, oh, I put our roll on the floor. We're gonna just make 2 more loops. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna make 2 more loops for our center. And I know usually people don't like using the 2.5 inch for the center loops because they can get kind of big. But there's no rules. Oh, the designers had lots of great ideas. Wonderful. Oh, wonderful. You went to the retreat too. I know Lori Jacobs from Hardworking Mom just had her retreat. I believe it was in North Carolina. I might be wrong. It might be South Carolina. I forget. I heard a lot of people had a wonderful time. Learned lots of great ideas. All right, so we're just going to move our big ribbon roll out of the way. Grab a zip tie real quick. I know it's kind of out of screen, but I'm going to pick it up and show you in 2 seconds what we did. Okay. And so basically I just put in a zip tie wrapping everything. And I'm going to bring my zip tie tail to the back, grab my full-size pipe cleaner. And I usually use wire to put things on, but when we're using like a regular wire frame, like a wreath frame, Dollar Tree, or it could be a work frame. But with these, I usually tend to use pipe cleaners. It's just easier for myself to grab it through the grapevine sometimes. All right, and so our zip tie tail is still the back here. We're going to tighten that off real good. Okay. And grab our wire cutters. Cut that tail off. And then now, so this is kind of like top heavy, right? Because we have everything on this side. So now we're going to add stuff. Woo! We're going to need to move our glue pot. Or actually what we're going to do is push this to the side a little bit because we're getting a little too close for comfort over there on our glue pot. We don't want everything in the glue. And so we're just going to move that tail out of the way because I don't want to get any glue on anything. I could always melt it with a hair dryer usually, but it's easier if we don't have to melt it at all. Instead of making a boo-boo, let's not make a boo-boo. I always say let's not give ourselves extra work. We always have enough extra work as it is. We don't need to give ourselves even more. So I'm just pulling on our ribbon because it's really stuck in a direction I don't want it to go in. I'm tugging on it. So that it cooperates. Okay. Hopefully it will listen now. Alright, so I think it's good to get into our wreath now. So it's supposed to stay like this. And this one is actually a round form, but it came in a little oval shaped, which is always an extra added bonus. Because the oval wreath frames are so much more expensive than regular round frames. Now this side is a little bit tighter than the other side in regards to the actual twigs and branches. So I grabbed a couple of strong pieces of our frame to pull it in through. And so see how it's kind of at a diagonal? All right. So I'm going to add our bow because, so I used to do it the opposite way. I used to then add my florals. It just, you know, sometimes you play around with a technique and you like one way better than the other. So I used to play around with adding all our florals and then putting in our bow. And what I found was I was then just smashing our flowers sometimes because I misinterpreted how much space I really needed for our bow and our loops. And then I was covering all these pretty flowers. So I changed it up and I said, well, let's add our ribbon first instead, our bow. And that is when I said, oh, voila, this is so much better because now I can see what is a good spot, what is not a good spot. And we want to bring some of these really pretty 1.5 inch tails to the front. Okay. And like I said, this is not fixed yet, but let's start with our stuff here. So, let's see. I think what we did was these really pretty fluffy ones besides our greens. So we're going to get these ready to go on top of our greens. Perfect. So let's grab our greens. And those are right here. And then right here. So this one is longer, so I'm going to add this one to the bottom here because now we're going to go longer this way, shorter this way still. Okay. And I could actually technically break this off if I really need to, which we may. We'll just see. I do think this little guy is going to come off. I'm going to cut this little nub off. And I think we're going to see how this looks in here. I think that looks really great. Not tooting my horn or anything. I just think it looks really great like that. It was at Myrtle Beach, yes. Oh, great time meeting everyone. I absolutely love, so for anyone that is new to our channel, I quit my, oh no, see, we didn't want to do that. We'll have to get our hair dryer out later and get the glue off. So I quit my normal 9-to-5 job, and we are doing this full time. So I make a lot of wreaths, but not only that, I make wreath attachments, so plush wreath attachments, and it's been so much fun. Honestly, we might just be able to peel this off now that it's still kind of fresh, and most of it actually got on the cream part, which is perfect because we can get that off quickly. But anything else that I can't get off will just melt with our hair dryer after. So I have been absolutely loving doing this full time. We're actually going to get another little pipe cleaner possibly to hold this in here because this branch was a little bit longer. If we can't hold it in there with some of these other flowers, then we're going to probably put in a pipe cleaner to kind of hold it there. But to be honest, I am loving what we're doing. I think it was the best decision I ever made. It was obviously a family decision that we had to, you know, talk about and do, and it's not for everyone. But we have, been working on our website. We have been working on our, our social media presence. And it's been absolutely a godsend. Really has. Been a true blessing. This little guy, he is definitely going to need something to hold him up there. Seems like he's a tired little flower of sorts. So we're going to put something, we're going to pin something there. Let's see, we've got some little pieces of pipe cleaners. We kind of just saved because some of them are a little bit longer than necessary. Got a brown piece here. So we're just going to come in and pin him where I think he needs to go. He doesn't want to seem to cooperate. And pin, I mean I'm going to run this pipe cleaner just through a couple of thick branches and make him stay where I want him to stay. It wouldn't help with glue because the glue is just not going to be able to hold it in place enough. So I'm just coming in with like a tiny piece of pipe cleaner. It's less than half a pipe cleaner. And now this will stay better. And see how that just holds its shape so much better instead. Okay. And everything is just coming together so much better now with that staying. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I just realized that you said everything was beautiful. Thank you. All right, so where is our other little fluffy guy? Oh, he's right in front of my face. Okay, so let's add this guy up here. I know this stem is too long. I think he's going to kind of, want him to go this way around here somewhere towards the outside. Whew, we got extra lights and we've got the glue pot on. It's like we should have turned the air conditioner on here today. Today it was actually going to be in the 80s in Massachusetts here in Dartmouth, which I don't think we've seen the 80s this late in September for a very long time. This, I love the way this is coming out. I don't know that I'm going to be able to part with this one because I really do need something for my door. I've been trying to decorate our doorway slowly for the fall. Because you know how it is when you're making things for everyone else, your house always comes last. Oh, and I forgot to put in our other little guy here. Oh, I already started with that side. Not too late, it's not too late. We can still sneak this guy in here. We can absolutely sneak him in here. Oh, can't sneak him in if he's getting stuck though. Okay, we're gonna have to cut him a little bit up. Pop off that bottom leaf. And we're gonna cut about 1.5 inches off of him. And let's see if I want him to have leaves on this side instead. I might have to pop that flower out. Let's see. No, actually we're going to leave it on this side. Okay. Oh yeah, I like that better. That way it's coming right through the inside there. And I know this is still kind of wavering on, you know, tilting a little bit, but we have to fill this side too. So we're gonna keep filling, and we're gonna see, hopefully it will even out. As I say, hopefully. Hopefully. We'll get it there. Sometimes you just gotta keep cutting stems until you get it to the right size you want it. So I want this to go right in between our little bow spot here, like that. Okay. Careful we don't have another incident of glue on our bow. Okay, let's put in another little guy here, top here. This way. Okay, and we've got one more of these little guys, and we're going to stick this guy. Oh no, we have two more. How did I count? Obviously wrong. We might put one underneath here. So I think it's time to kind of turn this to the side a little bit so you can see. And we're going to kind of sneak in here and put one kind of like down here a little bit, if we can make it look right. Sometimes I gotta find the right sweet spot. So I think if we curl it like that, it might look right. I think we have enough glue to last. So let's stick this in through the bottom here. And we're going to kind of bend it so that way we can get it behind. The tail's behind there, but have this kind of the leaf pop in and these pop over like that. Okay. Now I do think we're going to need some extra leaves on the sides here. So not these, because these are meant to get stuck into a twig part. But we could come in with these little guys if we needed to. So we'll wait until the end because we might actually be able to manage with some of our other filler. But I do think this guy needs one over here. Get rid of these glue webs. I think we need one not so close. Not so close. Maybe under here. So we're going to cut this. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Debbie says it's beautiful so far. I hope so. So sometimes you need to kind of duck. I think I just nabbed our ribbon again. Our poor ribbon. I did the end of it. So never fret, because when you're done, you can just take this over to your hairdryer, put it on a hot heat setting, and melt that away. Okay. Alright, so let's grab our browns. we didn't grab our muted leaves yet. I lied. I knew we were missing something. We may not use all of these. So let's cut a few. One. And cut this kind of the same spot that we did before. Here's, ooh, two. Sometimes I need two hands to cut these guys. Okay. So this one might be good to kind of hang down through here. Again, you can turn these. So these that are singular ones, they turn and pivot. So if you feel like your leaves are twisting the wrong way, move them. Oh yes, that's what we were missing. That looks like 100 times better. Okay. Let's not find our little opening to sneak this in here. See how that's filling in nicely? Okay. And we're going to cut, let's see, probably right here. Okay, let's see, this might be all we need on this side, though I feel like this branch is a little too thick. I want something a little bit thinner. And I kind of want something sticking out over here. And here. I want some leaves sticking out over here like that. So I'm going to grab this little branch here. And we're going to turn this sideways a little bit so we can see what we're doing. And we're going to stick this guy right in through there. And of course, I twisted the leaves the wrong way when I put them on. There we go. So that's sticking out a little bit. And then I think we're going to put one up here. So I think this is the one we're going to put up top. And I just saw some more glue webs. There we go. So I'm going to try and turn these the way I want. And give him a wiggle. Oh, this branch is thick. But we definitely need some muted leaves up here. It looks far too green and plain. And we're going to mix in some of these muted leaves in with our green leaves. They're all friends. That's perfect. So let's try and get that in there without covering everything with glue. Alright, so let's get this in here. And we're just bending it so that way it will go into some kind of shape we want it to go into. So see how it's starting a little bit to even itself out. I'm definitely going to put something over here to kind of cover it up. Let's see what we have left to add. We added in our little sparkly guys. I call them our little sparkly guys. And what do we have? Our browns that we still need to add. So we can add in a brown little guy over here. We did have one of these, which would be much nicer. So we're going to add one of those in. And you know, he's probably just going to go right on. Let's see how long we need to cut him. I should say how short. I'm going to leave him on his long stem and bring him in like that. Okay. Let's bring him in here. Ooh, just got our finger in the glue. So hang on, he's not in completely. I just had to let go of that because I got my finger right in the glue. That was a little hot. So we're going to have to sneak him in there with something else. We might have to add in... Oh, we didn't add in these yet. I thought we did. So we'll add in these to kind of hold it up on against the stem. Get the glue right on the leaves as well. Just peeling that off before it dries. There we go. Okay. So we're going to fill in there with this little muted, looks like a daisy, but it's like a sunflower almost. I'm not one for flower names. We're going to bend this guy up a little bit more. This guy, we're going to come in here and hide him in there. Oh, again. Just grabbing myself with the glue. Okay. Let's see, we still got a couple of holes in there, so let's make sure we're adding in all these pieces. Oh, that's right, we have this big beautiful guy to add in here. I said we'll probably just add him to the bottom somewhere. See how long this stem is? Goodness gracious. Maybe over here on this side. Or behind here. Gotta kind of fix our bow a little bit up here. What do you think? Just playing with our bow for a second. Because it was bothering me. I might not use this big eye. It's so pretty though. Alright, let's see what else we have. So still have more of these to add. I feel like I want one right in the center of our bow. But we're going to add in some pumpkins and stuff, and I'll save some acorns, so we'll save these. Trying to see if I want some more leaves or not. I think we want some more right up top here. So we're going to cover that little spot up because that little spot is bothering me. We're going to cover this little spot up with some more leaves. This little empty space right here. That little empty space. Yes, perfect. Oops. See how easy it is to pull things off by accident. Okay, let's add in this rose. Somewhere yonder. Florals are something that you need. Ooh, try not to whack yourself in the head. You need to have a little patience with, because you might need to kind of figure out where you want to position something. So it's not those kind of wreaths that you can kind of just know you're going to have 6 of these right in this spot and keep moving. It's sometimes trial and error. Sometimes. Like I had a vision in my head. But sometimes when you're working with a lot of different materials and you want it to look natural, okay. Beautiful. Now, do we need any more of these? I think we're just going to come in with a couple of these right in the back here, possibly. Actually, right, probably even behind these leaves because it's kind of empty. So right back through here. We do want it to be covered. I don't know who's going to be peeking at it sideways. Oops. Stuck it in too far sideways. I know it's kind of hiding, but it's not hiding in the sense of that if you look at it sideways, it's actually covering. Okay. so these all look covered, that looks covered, so I think that looks good. You know, I think we already have enough brown in here. We had only a little bit up there. We might add a little brown bud in here that we have left over from this piece to even that out. So just like in through here. Okay. Perfect. Kind of like threes. We're going to leave that one in two. This little bud, you know, isn't really going to do much for anybody, so we're just going to throw that aside. And I think what we're going to add in is our little spray here. I think we're going to add this going downwards because this one's going up. So we're going to add this one going down. Okay. And let's find the perfect little angle for this. So I think we're going to have to mingle this in. Yep. Like in there. I think we're going to throw in another glue stick to kind of start melting. Alright, so this is another one. We're going to be a little careful coming in through here. I'm going to try and mix this in really well. I'm going to bend it. And if some of these leaves need to come in the front, they can come in the front of this. Okay. Curly cues. Need to add in our little curly cues. Now this one I know is different than the other one. It's okay. The only issue I can see is trying to cut this darn thing that's so thick. That might be our only problem. Not anything else. So we're just fixing, see how curly it is? I love this. So simple. Trying to make sure it doesn't go the wrong way. Okay. So simply, it adds so much dimension. You know what I've used before too is there's some incense that I found that is like curly rods. I've used that before as well. Alright, so let's see if we can cut these big old stems. Oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was ready to scream for help. Not that anybody was going to hear me. Okay. And these are actually wired leaves. If you've ever seen any of those, these are really great because you can, these big ones, you can point them in whatever direction you want. And they're going to go. Alright, so let's cut this one at the base over here. Okay, maybe this side we can't cut because we're cutting through like 4 pieces of wire at the same time. But my husband's not home. Oh, goodness. Girl power. Alright, so let's add some curlies here. And we can mix these in too, just like that. Perfect. And I think this one's going to come down this way. Actually, we might want that one down there. Who knows? Let's see. Let's see. Covering up our lights. Let's come in through here. Nope. That would look really cute. Alright, let's see if we can shorten the stem a little bit. Oh, that was the easy one to cut. That was the easy one. Okay, we need to get some more glue in there. Oops. Let's put a little bit of glue on our leaf. Now, if we can get this back in where we can. And the good thing about this one is it's all wired. So, you can make it go where you want. Alright, so our curly cues are, let's bring some of them to the front. Pretty. And now we're going to glue this guy in. Oh goodness. We're going to get on our little step stool for this one. Alright. This is a pretty big stem. I don't want to burn myself. Beautiful. All right, so see if these guys are gonna finally curl or not. Hope so. We're not going to let go of those yet. Now, we do have these little guys I wanted to stick in there because I think they're really cute for making some additional statements like, hey, look at me, I'm pretty cool. It's like crazy hair. Probably up here. Woo! Let's not drip too much glue. And I don't recommend you catch hot glue with your hand. Perfect. Okay. I had to do that or it was going to totally catch on our little curly cues. Don't you just love that? It looks like little wispies. Now, how many more do we have? We had 4. Here's the other one. Okay, so let's stick the other one. Here would be better. Here. Let's do that. Awesome. And then we're going to come in here with some wispies. Top here. I want to make sure we're getting it in our grapevine. There we go. Wasn't in yet. Now this one can get curled a little bit more. There we go. I mean, he can still come out and play, but I think he needed a little more control. Here we go. One more little wispy. We're going to throw it in over here somewhere. Okay. These were really fun. I don't even know where I got these. These were left over from some project. I had already cut them actually. And they were left over from something. Okay, this little guy is going to come to the front. Perfect. I don't think we're going to use this little curly guy. Okay. I do feel like we need some more kind of greens right here. Let's see what we have. Let's see what we have. We do have these little wired guys. Let's cut these little wired guys. Might just be enough to just add in a couple of greens to the side here. Okay, and let's see if we need some more. Those aren't long enough. But what we can do, so these actually belong on a metal part. And we've cut a lot of small pieces off our stems, like these little pieces. So we can actually make our own little stem for it. If we just add some glue to one side of our stem and stick that in there and let it sit, and it's going to melt, and anything extra I'll just clean up like that. Okay, so that's going to dry, and once that dries we can actually use that as its stem to insert there. Okay. So we actually have these little pumpkins and whatnot that we're going to open up. I think this is supposed to set down to dry for now. So we could add these little tiny pumpkins, and again, how we're going to put them on is we've cut 1,000 little pieces like this, right? Not 1,000, but we exaggerate a little bit. We could add some to the center of our bows. if we wanted to open them up and add something to the center. We could add little green ones if we wanted to. Thank you. So we could add little green ones, or we could add little white ones. We could also add these little acorns in places. I don't think we're going to add the little acorns. We'll just use those as filler for something else. But I do like the little either white or green pumpkins. So I think those are a really nice little addition. So I do think we might add some pumpkins to the center of our bows. We just need to fix our ribbon a little bit. But I think that would look really, really cute. Need to fix our ribbon to go the right way. I don't know. What do you guys think? Pumpkin in the middle? Pumpkin not in the middle of the bow? I think we're going to add some of these little green guys. So the way I do that is I put some glue, too much, just a little bit, on the end of one of these stems, and I just stick it right into the back side of the pumpkin. And I'm going to let that dry for a minute and let it set. In the meantime, this one has set, so we can add glue to the back side of this one because we wanted a little bit more green on this side right here. So we're gonna sneak this into perfect. See how that just adds in a little bit more to the side there. So if you're looking at our piece, this bow doesn't lend itself to really having a pumpkin in the middle, but this one does because I've pushed on the ribbon a little bit more. So we could add a pumpkin in the middle to each one. It's not sticking right now, but we could absolutely add a pumpkin there. What do you guys think? I'll keep adding stems to our green pumpkins. I know we've got more stems on here that we cut. There's one. Okay. So this one's set, and we're going to add a little green pumpkin somewhere. Maybe like right under here. Come in with a pumpkin. Okay. We could even do this little squash. Let's put this one in. I'll wait for that one to set. While this one the plastic actually bent off the back side of the wire, but that's okay. We don't really care. It's not gonna show a ton, so not gonna worry. Kind of added one to the bottom over there, so we'll add one to the top over here, like so. And then this squash, I think maybe we'll just add it to the top over here. Not enough glue. There we go. And that will set. Just little tiny accents. You don't want anything too dramatic. Trying to get this thing to set before I move on. Okay. I do think I like the pumpkin in the middle of the bow. Maybe not. We'll leave it out. How's that? We'll leave just our pretty bow. One more squash. Throw in here. Let's see if we have another one stick here. I did have one. We'll make one. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to wait for that one to set too long. We're going to try and see if we can just start adding that in. I'm going to probably add that in right down here. Just kind of peeking. Okay. Beautiful. Now, let's fix our bow. Okay, just trying to pinch this. To where it would actually look good. All right. This one, do is just grab a really small pipe cleaner again, because it's actually kind of really being held nicely by this little tiny pumpkin, but we want to make sure with any kind of wind or anything that it's not going to just come popping off. So again, we're just going to tie it here. And make sure it's not going to go anywhere. Perfect. And anytime I do that, I just bend in the pipe cleaners right back into the wreath frame. So that way okay, this one I think I'm going to cut down probably about here. And we're going to cut this one in an angle too, more like a dovetail. Okay. We're going to see if we can't twist them both together. This one we're going to cut and let it just hang. Oops. Okay. I'm going to shut our glue pot off. All right, and here we're gonna cut these down. Oh, it's time for lunch almost, I think. Sure is. Okay. Barring other than just cutting the rest of these tails, we are done, and I'm going to let go of those clips up top. And we can curl these if we want on the bottom. have it. There we have it, folks. Our muted tone fall wreath. All on an 18-inch grapevine. We used only 2 ribbons, one 2.5 inch, one 1.5 inch. We used a bunch of muted tones between creams and something that looks close to peach but browns. Pops of green with curlies and whimsicals in here. So I think we're gonna get it on the door and take a picture, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. I know it was quite a long one, so hopefully, usually our tutorials aren't quite as long, but we wanted to make sure we got through absolutely every single aspect of today's video, and we hope that you enjoyed it. So Kathy here from Santa Marta Designs, and I hope you love this creation, and if you want to stay tuned for more, there are more videos on our channel. If you haven't subscribed to our video channel yet, I would appreciate you do so. It's a free subscription. Just click that little subscribe button and the bell notification icon. YouTube will let you know when we're either live or up to upload new videos. So thanks for joining me. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Bye.